This is Lady Rochelle with Warriors Talk on UBM Faith, and I am with Whitney Henderson, who is sharing some life-saving information. And I just want to give out our resource for today. It's coming from the Sister Network, Inc. It's a national African American breast cancer survivorship organization. And their mission is they are committed to increasing local and national attention to the devastating impact that breast cancer has on the African American community. And they have a breast cancer assistance program that provides financial assistance to those who are financially challenged. The program provides financial assistance, but not limited to medical-related lodging, co-payments, office visits, and they also have free mammogramming. You can actually contact them by visiting their website. It is sisternetworkinc.org. They have a number. It's 866-781-1808. And we are talking about some life-saving information, breast cancer and its impact on the African-American community. And we know that in the African-American community, for some reason, breast cancer is hitting us hard. Not only is it hitting us hard, but our mortality rate is it's higher than the other races. And these are some things that we can do that we're going over today that can actually change your life or help decrease your chances of getting breast cancer. So I have with me Whitney Henderson, and she is a registered nurse, and she has seen cancer from the beginning to the end. So she's sharing with us some life-saving information about breast cancer. And if you have any questions and you want to maybe call in, you can actually call in to our line as well. 773-675-5906, and we will be happy. Whitney can answer some of your questions that you have about awareness and prevention of breast cancer. And I think we have a caller. Hello? Hello, welcome to Warriors Talk. Okay, maybe we don't. Okay, so we are talking to Whitney Henderson, who is a registered nurse, and she's telling us about awareness and prevention when it comes to breast cancer in the African American communities. So we know that she mentioned about eating right, being active, and not being silent about what's going on with you. Taking initiative of your health, being your own best advocate, going to the doctor so that when you go to the doctor, you can note the changes that are going on with your body, and you can take charge of what's happening versus going in there letting the doctor tell you everything.
Definitely. And the biggest preventable thing that you can do for yourself is to not smoke. Secondhand smoke, firsthand smoke, tobacco use is one of the leading preventable causes of cancer of any sort. So smoking, I know it's a habit, force of habit.
It's a nasty habit.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot of health risks, particularly increasing your risk of cancer.
Wow. And we had a young lady on here a couple of weeks ago who was a lung cancer survivor, and she said she smoked for a long time. So smoking is a habit that you may want to give up. And we do have a caller on the line. This is Warriors Talk with Lady Rochelle. Who is this?
Hi, this is Valerie. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello, Valerie. We have sitting here with us Whitney Henderson. She is a registered nurse, and she's giving us some life-saving information. Did you have a question for her?
Yes, Whitney, thank you. I just appreciate all of the information and just educating us on things we probably didn't think about today as I listened to the show. But, I was thinking about cancer in the African-American community and just thinking about what would that community look like if we had a perfect community that was set up to treat people suffering from cancer. What do you think that community would look like?
Oh, wow.
Good question. I like that.
I would say definitely one that was grounded in faith. A lot of time, too, it's your mindset. So if you have that strong faith foundation as well as a support system, because that's always something that's needed, because that's what kind of helps to get you through your tough times, helps to keep your spirits up. I'd also say we would be on top of our screenings and maintenance, at least once a year going to see your healthcare provider, even if nothing is wrong with you. Because a lot of times people think, I'm 120 pounds and 5'5", and
yes.
I'm fine. I don't eat fried foods. I don't eat pork, and I'm fine. But genetics plays a big part of it. We're African American. A lot of times we don't know our family history, so I would say that we would be aware of our family history, and just of certain risk factors that we can help decrease, given that there are things that are out of our control, like race and family history. And those factors, but just kind of knowing how things impact us and making more informed decisions. I would definitely say I would like to see our people working out more. Like we're naturally shapely. We're naturally but thick has become obese. And
but
obesity.
They think thick is the new sexy.
Exactly. I mean, it just obesity leads to lots of other health issues, not just limited to cancer. So we would be more fit people, more healthy people, just more self-conscious of things.
But you know what, Whitney? That's a good question that Valerie asked, and you talked about being active, but some people can be on the thick side and still be healthy.
Yes. I mean, there are especially some of us are naturally more dense than others.
Okay.
But then if we're eating out at Wingstop 5 times out of the week, and
so you know where your thickness is coming from.
You know where your thickness is coming from. And your waist circumference is a little bit wider. Those things definitely increase your risk, and if you already are at an increased risk for just being black,
right.
having
being a woman,
right, being a woman, having a sister or mother, has breast cancer, you already have 3 strikes against you.
Wow.
So why would you put more strikes on your paper?
Okay, Valerie.
Yes.
Did she answer your question?
She did, and I also was thinking, and not to take over the show.
No, go ahead,
Mrs. Whitney, but I just have to, the conversation that you and Lady Rochelle is having, it's just really, really just sparked like my creativity, because I believe that you have to visualize things in order for them to, come to fruition. But I was just wondering, and I don't know if you have any type of answer for this question, but within the Black African American community, we don't use counseling, we don't use mental health services as we should. I believe.
Yes.
I think we're starting to be more educated on what counseling and therapy does and how to effectively use it. However, do you see more people using within the African American community? Do you see more blacks using support groups?
I like that.
I honestly don't. It still is such a stigma attached to mental health and, to depression. And, are you really depressed, or do you just need more prayer? We all can always use more prayer, but, there's a chemical imbalance sometimes.
Amen.
A lot of times we may go into, smoking because that helps to relieve stress, or, alcoholism or drug abuse, or just verbal abuse, physical abuse, other self-destructive behaviors, but we don't use support groups a lot. A lot of times, too, if we're not using them, a lot of people aren't necessarily going to offer them if they're not going to be used. So I can't even think of too many support groups that, we have access to be honest with you.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, I don't see within our communities, because I work within social service, I don't see a lot or hear a lot about, if I have a client or a family that needs support and I want to refer them to a support group, I always have to Google it or look it up. I never hear like word of mouth, because a lot of our services, it's about word of mouth and how you know what's in the community. But I never hear about, it's a support group for cancer, or it's a support group for this. I never hear that about in our community.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Well, you know what? You're going to hear word of mouth right here. On UBM Praise, we do have Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette, and she deals with psychology in the mind, and it comes on every Wednesday at noon. So she tackled many different areas about, psychology in the mind. So I encourage people to tune into it. Again, it's Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette on Wednesdays on UBM Faith. Just a little plug. Okay. You know what, Valerie, you have some very good questions, and I know that a lot of people probably want to ask the same questions. So kudos to those questions. I like them.
Yeah, thank you.
You have any more for Whitney?
No, I don't, but I appreciate you really taking the time to talk to me today. I really got a lot of good information from you today, a lot of things that I could pass on to other people as I'm making those connections.
Yeah, like when you know better, you do better. And tell all my patients that when you know better, you do better,
Exactly. Thank you so much, Valerie. Appreciate the support.
Okay. Have a great night.
Thank you as well.
Wow. Those were some awesome questions. You talked about faith, and you talked about a lot of people don't do anything about sometimes what they're going through if they're depressed, and they need people to talk to. They don't utilize the support groups, and they always go to pray. I'm going to pray. And like you said, it's okay to pray. Mm-hmm. But you got to do something besides pray. You got to take action. It says faith without works is dead. Mm-hmm. So although you're praying, you're going to have to get up and get some type of action plan going on so that you would be able to see what you're going through. Sometimes you have to write down your goals, and then you mark them off as you're going, so you know that it's obtainable. You write down the obtainable goals first, because sometimes it could be overwhelming. They say, okay, you got to do chemo. Okay, you got to do radiation.
Right. It's a lot of info, and it's a lot of new information, but you just kind of have to, pick the chunks up. Sometimes you may have to revisit it. You may not be in the right frame of mind because, sometimes providers aren't necessarily cognizant of what's going on in your mind, and they don't understand that you're in shock, so they can talk to the cows come home and you don't understand what's going on. So sometimes it's something that you have to revisit, so that you can best know how to address it. Because again, you want to be part of that process. You don't want your provider telling you, okay, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. You want to be part of that process step by step because you're the patient, you're an integral part of your healthcare process. A lot of times we just put it in someone else's hands because again, that kind of takes the stress, off of you, but
this is your life,
right? Exactly. That this is your life. You have a family that may be, depending on you. You have yourself that you're depending on. You still have things that you want to do, so you definitely want to be part of this important step in your life.
I totally agree with that. I know when I was going through, my mom went with me when I met with the doctors, the nurse navigator, because of the frame of mind that I was in. She wanted to make sure, number one, I went, and number two, that I understood everything that was going on. And for me, when I went and I was told I had cancer, and then they said, okay, you got to meet with the nurse navigator. And she was trying to explain everything to me. And the only thing I was saying to myself, I just told her, I don't want to hear all of that. What are we going to do to get this out of me? Let's get going. I'll revisit that when the time comes. But right now, I need to know what steps are we going to take to remove this out of me. And that's the route that I had to take. And I commend my doctor because she had no pity on me. When I would be like, when we have our appointments, I'd be like, I'm losing my hair. And she's like, okay, it's cosmetics. I'm like, oh, my nails are falling off. She's like, okay, it'll grow back. I'm looking at her like, really? And one day I went to go get chemo. I had a fever. My general doctor was like, you're not getting treatment today. My oncologist was like, oh, yes, she is. We're going to push her through this treatment. And I'm looking at her like, are you trying to kill me? And my mama was like, yes. She was like, I don't want to break in treatment. You're strong enough. You're young enough to get through it. You're going to get through it. And she pushed me through that treatment. And I was just like, oh, my goodness. So you have to have a relationship where you're communicating, telling them.
Exactly.
That's important.
So I say always important, too, to establish care. That's kind of the importance of your annual screenings, is that so you can kind of develop a rapport with your provider so that, they kind of know your personality, you know what they would do. And it's easier than, just kind of coming in to a stranger, something very personal and intimate saying, I think I found a lump in my breast.
Right.
It's always easier to kind of talk to someone that you know and that you feel comfortable with so that you can trust that